Hey everyone, I'm your host, Courtney O'Steen, and you're watching The People Project. Don't forget to like and share this video with someone that you think could find it valuable. Thank you to the incredible individuals who have made this series possible. Without you, there wouldn't be a project. Everyone, this is Courtney O'Steen here with The People Project, and we're introducing Women in Tech. I'm so excited to have our special guest speaker today, Danielle Cox. Go ahead and introduce yourself and let everyone know a little bit about yourself.
Hi guys, I am Danielle. I am the head of IT at a company called Divvy. I've been in technology for about a decade now, and I also do pageants in my free time, which allows me to donate my time to charities and to help with various different organizations. And I'm also a part of the Women in Tech Utah group. So I help mentor there. And then I'm also a mentor at our company ERG group. So I have mentees that I work with about being, a female in the technology industry.
That's fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like to make a decision to be in a heavily influenced male industry?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't consciously make the choice. I wasn't going into tech and fully recognizing what I was stepping into. I chose to get into technology because I love the ever-changing environment. I love creating efficiencies and organization, and I love just what technology can do for us. So I wasn't thinking about the field per se, and that it is primarily a male dominated industry. It was more like what it can do. And same as I moved into leadership, because leadership is also primarily a male dominated industry. So I really wasn't thinking about that. I just knew I wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to make sure that I'm following best in class when it comes to both technology, but also in actual leadership, in leading my team and in working with my peers. So it was more something that I recognized once I was in it and kind of looked around, and I was like, oh, I'm in this field now and I'm surrounded by men. But it's been, overall, it's been a really great decision that I made, and I'm glad to be in technology.
What would you say to young women that are looking to get into your field? What would be your biggest piece of advice?
My biggest piece of advice for all youth is to get into technology at all. But I think the biggest thing for females is don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated when you walk into a room and you're the only woman there, or when you walk in and for me, I love sparkly things and glitter and pink, and I'm very feminine, but I walk into a space where nobody else in the room is like that. And that tells me that's exactly the room I should be in. So keep working at it and own yourself when you're in that space.
And what do you think your advantage is as a woman in your field?
I bring different perspective on things that wouldn't be considered if I were not in the room. If I weren't as a leader or even in technology, in there looking at what's being done, a lot of things would be missed, because from a female perspective, you're gaining, a perspective of potentially 50% of the people that might be missed if a woman were not in the room. So I'm there to represent, and I'm there to show that we can have diversity, and through having diversity, we can have inclusion and not just be catering towards one separate group of people.
Definitely. What has been your most memorable time in your field?
Goodness, that's a tough one. I think probably the most memorable so far has been what I've done with Divvy, and the way that Divvy has grown as a business. So Divvy was recently acquired by a public company called Bill.com. The acquisition was $2.5 billion. And for me to be on early-ish time for Divvy, and be able to help create the foundation and the structure that allowed Divvy to grow into what it was. Like, the technology that we're using is the foundation that everybody else needs in order to achieve their job. So being a part of that and being a part of the amazing team that has made Divvy grow the way that they are has definitely been my most memorable experience in technology.
That's wonderful. And if you could tell your younger self something in regards to your actual field, what would it be?
I would say to myself, you know more than you think you know, and you're capable of more than you think you are.
I love that. That's such great advice, and that can be used across the board in life for any of our listeners here. So I would like you to share, what are some things that you do during your day that you think make you successful?
I'm very organized. So when it comes to my day, I make sure that everything is in my calendar. If it is not in my calendar, it is not getting done. And that goes even to a lunch date with a friend, or down to the business things that I might be doing. Checking email, I have time set aside to check email, because what happens is when you don't have a time frame and a structure created to organize and lay out your day, other things are going to get in your way. And the more that you start achieving and the more that you start growing and doing, the more those things will overpower everything else that you have. And then you'll probably feel a little bit like you're drowning in all this stuff you need to get done. So it's very important to stay organized and to follow the structure that you've set for yourself. And also it's important, as another factor would be to do what you say you're going to do. So if I give a deadline and I say I'm going to achieve these things in this time frame, you need to actually do it. And there will be things that get in your way, and there's always going to be an excuse that can stop you from doing it. And it's probably going to be a valid excuse. It's going to be a real thing, but don't let that get in your way or stop you. Either plan your time for the unplanned and say, yes, a project takes me a week to do, but in reality, unplanned stuff's going to get in my way and I need 2 weeks. That's your delivery timeline, is 2 weeks. So thinking about those things when you're structuring things so that you can follow your same commitments and you can be somebody that other people can rely on, and you can be somebody that's true to your word. So those are a few things that are really at my core that I think about when I'm going about my day.
Definitely. Those are great and really good core values for our listeners to kind of plug in and see what they're doing and maybe what they can add on to their toolbox right now. So I appreciate that. Now tell me, being a tech girl, do you have a favorite app that helps you stay organized? And then do you have an app that you like that maybe is something that not many people have on their phone?
My number one app that helps me be organized is my calendar. Honestly, like, it goes in my calendar and then it gets done. I'm an iOS, so an iPhone user. And another app that I really love is just the reminders app, actually, is what it's called. I'm checking it right now to make sure I use the right name. Yeah, the reminders app. And then I have things categorized by like what I need to do. So it can be as simple as having a grocery list on there. It could also be like a chore list for my child, but then it's also like tasks for me to do. And that way they're all structured and I know what I want to achieve and what I've actually gotten done, and I can go back and reference it if I need to look at that. So those are two really useful apps for making sure that you're achieving what you set out to do. And then a fun one. So honestly, a lot of my stuff is work driven. So a lot of what I have is like, okay, what's helpful for work? But for personal life, when I'm trying to unwind, I actually really like to play solitaire. That's a way that I feel like I have to mentally focus on that. And it helps to create that separation between work and home life. So when I'm done working, I cannot stop thinking about work. I think about all the things I need to do and I feel like I have to write them all down. And then I feel like I want to do them all. And I will honestly, I'd probably keep working till like 9 o'clock at night and then be like, oh, it's time for bed. So in order to create that separation and get my brain onto another task, I play solitaire, and then I have to focus on it a little bit, but it also allows my mind to relax. And then I realize, like, okay, I can handle all that work stuff tomorrow. It's the end of the day, and I can have kind of a mental reset to go about my personal life in the evening.
Oh, I love that. Unplugging is such a huge part of being successful in that mental aspect, right? I think I remember when I started real estate, it was just go, 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 go. And I didn't know how to turn off when I came home. And I would answer my phone at any time of night. And I thought, I'm creating really bad habits. And it's showing my children that I'm not showing up for them. I'm in the same room, but I'm on my phone working. I'm on my computer, but I'm still in the same room. And I started thinking, gosh, I'm missing so many things because I'm not saying no. So it's important to have something to where you can say, all right, we're done with that task for the day. Now I'm going to have 15 minutes, an hour, whatever it is that you're using for that unwind time. And then you can focus on those things that really matter, right? Like our family time, our self decompression and self reflection time. So I really love that tip. I think that's great. What would
Exactly.
be one of the things you do to help you get focused and prepared for your week ahead?
Um, every single evening, I look at my calendar for the next day because, like I said, everything lives inside my calendar. And I also have all my personal items in there as well. So, on top of all this, I'm also a single mom. And my daughter has all of her events and things that she needs to do throughout the day. So, I have to be able to be a mom and provide her support and all those things. So, every single night before I go to bed, I check my calendar and just make sure, okay, what do I have like first thing in the day so that I can make sure that I am calm and relaxed when I wake up. Nothing's going to surprise me. So I do that on a daily basis. But when I'm thinking about my week ahead on Sundays, I usually will look at my full week calendar, and I will also think about what big projects do I have that week that I want to get finished. Um, and that looking ahead really helps me to identify what are some of the larger things that are coming so that I can make sure that those take precedence and those are the most important. I'll go on a little bit of a tangent here that helps me prioritize things. Um, so if you think about all of your tasks that you have and all of the things that you need to do in your life, think of it like juggling. Literally, we're all juggling our home and personal and work and career at all times. And also, any relationships we might have, gym, physical health, all those things we're juggling. So think about the balls that you're juggling as some of them are glass and some of them are plastic. The glass ones are the ones that are like your most important things that you need to get done at that time that you're juggling them. You cannot drop your glass balls because then everything has to stop. You got to clean up the glass and it's a big mess. So the plastic ones, you can just let them fall and keep going, keep juggling everything that you're doing. So when you're thinking about all these things in life, work and personal life that you need to get done, think about what are your glass balls at that time, what's taking priority that absolutely needs to take over and get done. So one of the examples for me is like if there's a big project coming up, that's my glass ball. And I need to make sure that I don't drop that ball and that I make sure that I'm getting that done. But on the flip side of that, in my personal life, if my daughter gets sick, that's my glass ball. Everything else stops. I need to take care of her, take her to the doctor. Any big project becomes second. And I set those expectations as well with other people that may be relying on me that, hey, I have this thing going on. If it's a big project, I let family know I have a big project due. I'm not going to be as available to you or responding to text messages. If my daughter's sick, I let the business know, hey, I have to take care of my child. This project is going to need to be pushed off. So think about balancing those things. And that's what I'm constantly doing when I'm thinking about my week ahead.
That is such a great analogy. And I couldn't have thought of a better way to put it. And I've never thought about the balls, right? And that we're juggling and the fact that you have glass and plastic. And that's such a great way to look at it because it teaches you how to prioritize a little bit better. I'm a visual learner, so I'm going to keep that one in mind. And then if there has ever been a book that has impacted you in a positive way, what is that book that our readers should, our viewers and listeners should pick up and read?
Oh my goodness, I'm a huge proponent of reading and also of just self-help and making sure that you have a positive mentor in your life. So narrow it down to just one. Anything Brene Brown is going to be great. If you're in technology, reading the Phoenix Project or the Unicorn Project. If you're in engineering or in DevOps, those are two great ones. I know I'm about to go off on several for a female and for somebody that's looking to get started or even at any level in trying to level yourself up and do better. Girl, Wash Your Face was a great one. Once you start consuming positive material through reading or through a self-help book, it almost becomes like addicting where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to read. And more will start coming your way. Google is great about giving you ads for things that you're doing. So start reading a positive book and it will suggest more to you.
I love that. Gotta love a good tracer online, right? To say, I think you might need this. If you read this, you may be interested in this one. One of my clients just recommended one and it's called Hug Your Haters and it's actually supposed to arrive today. So I'm really excited to start reading that one. I think that's a great book. And then I appreciate the ones you have shared, especially from a tech perspective, because I think it gives an opportunity for people to really dive into some subjects that have some substance in relation to your work field.
Yeah.
So as we're getting ready to wrap up here, I just wanted to ask you, what are your final thoughts or something that you wanted to share with our audience today that maybe we didn't get the chance to cover?
I would say always set goals for yourself. Think about who you are today, recognize the values that you are providing, both for yourself and for anyone who has the honor of coming in contact with you. Continue doing those well, and then also look at what areas you want to do better at. So always looking at the positive in yourself, and then start surrounding yourself with the means to achieve those, whether it's watching amazing podcasts like this that are uplifting and helpful, whether it's following a mentor on your social media, or possibly even finding a mentor in your life, maybe hiring a coach or something like that. So those are going to be big ones that really are going to help in your life for achieving more and really leveling up. And of course, using those to help set your goals to move forward.
What great advice. I really appreciate you helping our listeners dig in deep to think about how they can benefit themselves and their journey of self-growth. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on another episode of The People Project with my special guest, Danielle Cox. We appreciate your time, and don't forget to be beautiful, be blessed, but most of all, be you.